Costco is on the brink of a total collapse. This is absolutely shocking news. It is finally happening, y'all. Time to get prepared. 17,000 plus Costco workers are planning to strike the mega wholesale membership club retailer. Currently, the Teamsters are locked in a tough contract battle against the mega retailers. This has been brewing up since late June when Teamsters voted to strike, with 93% of all Costco workers voting to strike. So, more than 17,000 Costco Teamsters are currently working under an expired contract, and workers are planning job actions that will shut down the bulk buying giant across the country, sending a stern message to the company, corporate CEO, investors, suppliers, and others who rely on Costco to keep their supply chain flowing and money coming in on a regular basis. Now, I told you guys this was coming. The rejection of the contract comes on the back of a wave of strikes across the U.S. It also occurred just a few weeks after 8,000 Kroger workers in the Indianapolis area rejected a pro company contract that was endorsed by the United Food and Commercial Workers Union, or the UFCW. Now, since 1903, the International Brotherhood of Teamsters represents 1.2 million hardworking men and women throughout the United States, Canada, and Puerto Rico. This includes a workers' union that is the lifeblood of Costco. And Costco Teamsters are one step closer to a nationwide work stoppage following ongoing knockdown, drag out negotiations for a new national contract. The Teamsters are bargaining with the company after members overwhelmingly rejected Costco's last best and final contract offer in June. The rejected contract offer, a pitiful raise that was falling far below the rate of inflation. Workers were offended. A 3-year contract with raises of 75 cents, 60 cents, and 60 cents each year. Starting wages for Costco workers in states like California are $17.50 an hour, making the yearly wage increase roughly 4% a year for new hires and as little as 2% a year for more senior workers amid historic annual inflation rates. And with inflation approaching 9%, the contract proposal was a massive real pay cut. And according to the Teamsters, the contract would have put some workers below the California state minimum wage by the end of the 3-year term. Now, the contract also included a reduction in the number of days workers could miss from work before being penalized with disciplinary action at a company where it is already difficult to take time off. Now, this sounds like the point system that the railroads use that make it nearly impossible for workers to have any time off for themselves and personal needs and affairs. They said the deal was so rotten that the Teamsters National Costco Bargaining Committee encouraged its members to vote no in a bid to save face. In a letter sent to union members, they described the proposal as an insult and told workers that it would not be recommended for acceptance by the local unions nor be approved by the Joint Council, the Warehouse Division, and the International Union. In the letter from Tom Erickson, the Warehouse Division Director for the Teamsters, he stated that the offer does not contain all the tentative agreements that have been argued to, nor does it contain clear, understandable, and accurate descriptions of provisions that the parties have negotiated. Simply put, it's incomplete and unacceptable, and for those reasons cannot be presented to our members. The Teamsters union workers are experiencing feelings of betrayal by their employer. Costco workers also rejected a company offer back in 2016 when the company refused to allow 3,500 workers on the East Coast join the defined pension plan that was in effect only in California. A month later, Costco agreed to the terms and the union endorsed the contract, ultimately averting a potential strike. Looking back on history, Costco workers have not gone on strike since the 1970s when the Teamsters first began unionizing stores. But today, workers are determined to win greater wage increases, and not just for themselves. On social media, discussions among workers over the contract often center on a desire to win higher wage increases, not just for themselves, but also for non unionized workers at Costco. The retail giant, known for its warehouse style stores and relatively high wages and benefits compared to the major competitors such as Walmart, employs over 250,000 people and made over $5 billion in profit last year. That's a full $1 billion more than the year before. This $1 billion alone could provide all Costco workers, union and non union, an extra $4,000 each. But this makes me wonder, if Costco wasn't as profitable as they were last year, would the Teamsters Union still demand higher wages? Meanwhile, union officials told members that a no vote would give them a stronger position in bargaining and aid in the negotiations for improved terms. But in reality, the Teamsters are seeking to provide themselves with cover while they go back and bargain for another concessionary deal, and the union would then probably treat any modest changes from the first deal as a major victory. Sean O'Brien is the Teamsters general president, and he said, "Our members at Costco will stand up for their rights and will hold their labor if necessary," adding that, as always, if our members decide to act, they will have the backing of the 1.2 million member International Brotherhood of Teamsters behind them. The bulk buying wholesale membership retailer doesn't just provide consumers with low cost hot dogs and cheap rotisserie chickens, but they are a key resource for many small businesses who rely on their overwhelming stock and convenient locations to keep their small businesses, including restaurants, open, functioning, operational, and producing revenue and profits. Now, if Costco Teamsters Union strikes, many other businesses will feel the pain, loss, and sacrifice of these failed negotiations. Now, we talked about this on a previous video I uploaded a few weeks ago. Insider intel shared that provided a clear indication that Costco was in danger and preparing for something major. Now, I think that this might be only the beginning. Earlier this summer, the Teamsters Costco National Negotiation Committee unanimously recommended a no vote against the company's contract offer. And on June 21st, Costco Teamsters rejected the national contract offer by over 93%. Teamsters Costco National Negotiation Committee said, "Don't be fooled by Costco's worker friendly image in the public. There's a new executive team running the show now, and they want to make Costco like all the other profit hungry wholesalers. We're literally watching the collapse unfold right in front of our eyes, folks. It has been reported that Costco made record profits during the pandemic, billions in 2021 alone, and yet they are refusing to share their success with the employees who make them profitable." Now, it is almost like they don't seem to care about their workers anymore. But Tom Erickson, International Vice President and Director of the Teamsters Warehouse Division, says the union will take action if an agreement isn't reached. "We are already seeing the catastrophic fallout as a result of supply chain nightmares, shortages, and limited inputs from Ukraine post war. There's a strong likelihood we could see a railroad shutdown, and it further hamper transportation of key goods, materials, food by at least 30%. And this isn't a good thing, y'all. I hope you're all prepared and or preparing. And you aren't, if you're not, tell your family to prepare." According to Erickson, he said, "This isn't a bluff. We won't back down until our members receive their contract they deserve." He said, "Costco made a killing off our members' backs during the pandemic. They can afford to pay our members their fair share of those profits. Costco is preparing to make a major change to our lives as we know it. And if they allow these negotiations to fail and the 17,000 Teamsters to go on strike, this is going to be a shocking blow." And it is shocking to hear because Costco was previously famous for maintaining a reputation of being a good place to work. The company even paid its employees $15 an hour way before most other companies. Costco has more than 13,000 ratings on the website Glassdoor. Glassdoor is a website where employees can rate their jobs by salaries, interviews, and benefits by providing photos and reviews. Costco maintained a high rating of over 80% of employees recommending working at Costco. But I feel as though this rating may soon fall if Teamsters go on strike after failed negotiations. Over 2,254 reviews even stated that they love Costco because they provide you with a living wage and great benefits, even working part time. With this being said, there are still some cons with the employee experience rating for the large scale grocery store. Almost 800 reviews from employees mentioned issues with management, complaining that there was poor management by not listening and hearing employees' issues and situations. In over 450 reviews, employees noted that Costco was very effective at keeping selective employees in check if the managers don't like the specific person. Now, I wonder if any of these scenarios were between women employees and women managers. But with this in mind, employees have explicitly expressed their needs and wants to Costco. And if they aren't met soon, Costco will take a big hit, and so will we. In addition to the labor union troubles, Costco has been having quite a tough time attempting to manage inflation. Costco intended to increase membership prices because of high inflation, which it usually does every 5 years. But this year, Costco decided not to because of the economic environment, with Costco CEO Craig Jelinek saying, right now, it's not on the table, and I don't think it's the right time. Higher costs, expenses, and overhead without higher prices spells doom for any business. But instead, Costco increased the price of its chicken by 33%. Its refillable 20-ounce cup of soda prices are up too. These are just a few of the ways Costco implemented changes in face of the inflation, with price alterations and financial projections. But in the background, employees have been involved in a bigger fight. And the Costco employees are demanding change. Employees continue to bargain with Costco over a desire for a new national contract. This fight has been continuous. Workers were offered a contract in June, which was referred to as their last, best, and final offer by the big corporation. But again, the offer was quickly rejected by over 93% of the employees. Negotiations are expected to continue, but so far, things aren't looking good, and it doesn't appear that they will find a common middle ground to prevent the strike. Even so, the Teamsters, the largest union in the U.S., will continue to make stronger efforts and will continue to stand up for their rights and their members, noting that all 1.2 million Teamsters members will act together if they need, or if their needs aren't met. Now, can you imagine if 1.2 million people went on strike in various industries and sectors across America? Our entire economy would shut down. We would be wiped out. Food shortages, empty shelves would be the worst we've ever seen. Toilet paper would disappear completely. Hell, even Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell may have to step in and badmouth Americans even more about the reason why he thinks we don't want to go to work. Secretary Treasurer and chair of the Teamsters Costco National Negotiation Committee discussed some of the main issues with Costco, which included Costco made record profits during the pandemic, more than $70 billion in 2021 alone, yet they are refusing to share their success with the employees who make them profitable. They don't seem to care about their workers anymore. And the international VP and director of the Teamsters also added that Costco can afford to pay its members their fair share of these profits, especially after it's made a killing off its members' backs during the pandemic. Now, this is going to be one of the that we're going to have to monitor and keep a close eye on. But what do you think about the Costco Teamsters Union employees' demands? Or is this mainly a greed driven push by the higher ups of the Teamsters Union to realize more profits off of Costco's success? Comment and let me know below. And I did receive an email from a Costco employee who is offering insider info and intel to help the community and all our families prepare for this nightmare shitstorm that we have coming. I'll be in contact with you soon, Howie. I do appreciate you reaching out. But thanks for reaching out and trying to help us all with your boots on the ground intel. You're a good man. God bless you all.